Now let's see how that is. 1 to the 2, 2, 2. Yes, yes, yes. Lynn. Come on in, Lynn. Just getting the systems booted up. A little bit of technical navigation, but it seems we have navigated ourselves. How you doing, Lynn? Yeah.
Great.
All right. Yes, thank you for saying that. Great, because now I have my audio working well. Beautiful. Welcome, welcome to our Sunday Circle. And happy summer solstice. Yes, yes, yes. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right. Usually flow in. Okay. Yay. Feels good to be live and direct. You know what live and direct means, Lynn? It means live and direct. Yes, welcome to our Sunday Circle. We'll see if our regulars have a chance to show up. We've been going pre-recorded over the last about 3 Wednesdays. As life has its twists and turns, we mold ourselves into the hands of the soul and allow the giving of our gift the way we can give it. The commitment is giving the gift of the soul. Yeah, that will bring an awareness of the miracles. So an effort to spiritually experiment with that inspiration, I've been just flowing with how life is unfolding. You ever have an experience out there where you're not in control of what's going on, even though the mind is trying to have control? Yeah. So in our Wednesday circle, as we gather around the fire of love, we are exploring and remembering the ways to be guided by intuition, inspiration, and synchronicity. Looking at those experiences as the experience we have when we relate to our soul. And there are ancient teachings and practices that have been passed on that have worked for others that has gone through this life like we are. So we gather to see what we can harvest from their experiences through various writings, and in the practice, begin to awaken our experience and what is written inside of us, what teachings and principles live within us that allows us to bring our interpretation, our perspective of this fire of love. So good to see you, Juliet. We're live. I know it's been a while. Lynn, this is Juliet. She is one of the deaconesses, if you will, that gathers around this fire of love. Welcome, welcome, Juliet. And so let us go ahead and tune in and hold this space for all those that may have wanted to be here that will catch the replay. Yeah, good to see you, Juliet. And for those that we are spreading this energy for so that they can become aware of this space to come to, or any other space that helps them to find, uncover that way of peace within and the outward expression Yes, that outward expression of their creative intelligence. So let's hold a space for those beings, and maybe that space that's going on inside of us that is awakening and aligning during this summer solstice. So we'll tune in with the sound of our Creator. If you imagine yourself to be on the Nile 10,000 years ago in your creative awakening class, accessing your alchemy within, we would be chanting the Creator's name. So we awaken the awareness of our place inside the Creator that's inside us, that set creation in motion. We would be there, awakening that awareness together. And one of the ancient practices was to chant the name of the Creator in Aramaic. And I recently started embodying it when I felt overwhelmed, when just felt like, why is this happening? Deep in duality for a moment, I say, okay, when that happens, I need to vibrate. That's why I love sharing and leading these spaces, because I get a chance to hear what to do. Because believe me, boy, as soon as these downloads come out, I get a chance to exercise them if I so choose. And so far over the last year, choosing has been a wise choice for me. Choosing to exercise these principles and teachings, that is. Right? Beautiful. P to the L. Yes, the virtual doors are open. Yeah, and the sacred ones are showing up. Yes, we get a chance to hold these 4 directions. So beautiful. So beautiful. So beautiful. So let me take these notifications off so we don't get that disturbance. Beautiful. All right, you're right on time, Master P. We're just about to tune in with the sound of our Creator. I was just setting it up for Lynn. Abwoon, Abwoon. If you think about the prescription of vowels and consonants and how various areas of Mother Earth put these teachings together, or these prescriptions together to bring about an awakening of our alchemy, for example, or an experience of our presence inside our Creator, the one that set creation in motion, then we find our home. We find that, like in the 91st Psalm, it says, yea, though I abide in the sanctuary of the Most High. Like we find that sanctuary, we find that holy of holies. You'll hear that expressed a lot in the Torah as well as Kabbalah, the holy of holies. The sound current and generating that sound current would place us into that vibration. So different than a location, but to access and become a vibration is the idea of the sanctuary. And beyond the idea, now the experience. So even though there may be such turmoil and transformation and change going on around us, swirling as opinions and theories and principles and politics, that we have that place where we can go. And this place is already programmed with everything we need to be who we've come here to be. Yeah? Just like you can go on your phone and see all those apps. You know, the software and algorithms have been set up to be what they have come to be. Yeah. You know, Facebook or Meta or whatever it's going to be, you know, Instagram, your phone or texting, all of these things that you hold in the palm of your hand just exemplifies, represents the infinite creative potential that you are. So as we gather in this space, and I'll talk more about the immersion coming up this Saturday, as we gather in this space, We're coming to remember our infinite creative potential as energy beings, moving a bit beyond the label of human, accepting this creative ability, and then being guided by intuition, inspiration, and synchronicity. Taken care of, knowing what to do, knowing how to create with that inspiration, how to work with this physical realm, and then experiencing time and space and creation showing up as synchronicity, taking care of exactly what we need, bringing miracles so we grow more confident. This is what we're chanting and embodying as we vibrate, as we tune in. Yeah. So the chanting of it, if you want to deepen into it and you feel comfortable in your lower abdomen, lift the muscles of the pelvic floor before we generate the sound ah, before we begin the journey through the vowels and consonants. Ah. All right, we'll give attention to each sound because it is enlivening, awakening, clearing, and invoking the supreme creative energy, the great parent of creation that set creation in motion. Ab Wun. Ab is from the root Abba, father, but BW together in the Aramaic language would denote non-gender. Then we have the double O. So this flow of the Holy Spirit, this flow of the life force coming into form. Because you can feel the vibration now. So let's vibrate together, family. So beautiful to be with you. Been missing you. Nothing like being together and connected as best we can in this time. Short of being present with each other, but to be live with you is very special. Feeling that now. Let's embody the mudra of balance. Pressing the palms together. Inhale deeply. Exhale. Let me give a quick check-in. How do I sound? I didn't do a check-in. How do I sound to you all? How's my audio? Abun. How does it sound? Somebody let me know before we begin so I know I'm not distorted or anything. Throw it in the chat. Say, hey, you sound good, or okay. Thank you, Juliet. Beautiful. All right. Pressing the palms, recognizing that we can use the energies of creation, pressure, stress, torque, friction, resistance. We can use these energies. All of them are present here. You know, let's rub the hands. Let's activate some friction. Come on. Rub the hands together. Feel the warmth. Feel the activation. Let it make you aware that I can activate no matter what's happening. If you feel a little down, a little confused, a little overwhelmed, or a lot overwhelmed, I can activate. Take a deep inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Beautiful. Feel that warmth seeping into every cell of your body from your hands, radiating in. Press the thumbs into the sternum. Closing the eyes. Deep inhale. Exhale. Abun, all on one breath. Inhale to begin. Abun. Lift the muscles of the pelvic floor if it's available to you. I'm going to play with the pitch. Join if you like. Last one. Abun. Inhale deeply. Hold that breath. Lift the muscles of the pelvic floor. Again, if it's comfortable for you. Draw the navel point in and up, establishing your foundation to create from. Your infinite being, but you do need some boundaries to experience your creative presence. A foundation is a boundary that you can build upon. Exhale. Relax the hands down. Just feel the vibration for a moment. So we're in that 6th month of June, and we've been traveling through the energy centers in the body called chakras. And so the 6th month leaves us to experience and focus on the consciousness or the state of consciousness that brings a sense of intuition, a sense of being guided beyond the calculations of the mind. And that's the brow center. It is the pituitary gland, a gland that reads and senses everything going on in the body through the hormonal communication system. Therefore, as we have a practice of embodying a theme, which is to train our mind so that we transform our life. So this leads to the topic today, which is transmute 3 blocks to your creative solar power. Oh, we have a gatherer coming in. Hey Sarah, welcome, welcome. 5 directions now. Yes. Come on in, we just tuned in. Abun. That's why I like it to be intimate like this. I can tune everybody into the space. Yes, we just tune in with the sound of the Creator. And we're just opening up our topic, so you're right on time. Where you are is right on time. So just to recap a bit, Sarah, so you are in the flow with consciousness that we are awakening. We have been following the flow of the months through the year, as well as the seasons, so that we become an embodiment of life, an embodiment of the energy of life, beyond being human. So we've been looking at the months connected to the energy centers in the body called chakras. So now we're at the 6th one, which is bringing a state of consciousness that awakens our intuition, a sense of being guided beyond what the mind can calculate, beyond survival mode. So we truly step into our creative power. And that's why we were chanting Abun. We're looking to ignite that and embody this energy of the Son of God here, where God, generator, organizer, and deliverer or destroyer of life, this energy that's embodied in our sun as we come to this time of the summer solstice, where the energy of the sun expresses itself more than any other time of the year. So consider that. Consider the anthropomorphizing of the sun that is just like us. And it has its expression. It has its reason for being created. It has a life of its own that's also connected to the flow of creation. and we are connected to that. Yeah, so there's this illumination of who we are, truly. And therefore, we also get a chance to see what gets in our way, what blocks us. So our topic today is to transmute these 3 blocks to your creative solar power. Right? The sun is so important that whoever was naming the aspects of these systems within us, particularly around the nervous system, whoever was naming these parts of our system, somehow they correlated part of our system with the sun, called the solar plexus, a radiating bundle of nerve tissue. I've read in some anatomy books there's more gray matter in the solar plexus than there is in the brain. But what I want to hone in on is this idea of what we embody. Because the mind, which is the source of all these three blocks. Because as we travel through our life, we develop certain patterns based on the family system that we come into, how life is viewed, and then we take those patterns and then we walk out the door into school and we experience the patterns of society, of friends, teachers. We have these experiences in our relationships. We develop these patterns that turn into habits. So I want you to kind of take a moment so that we use this energy of the sun. What is it doing? Physically, you can look out your window and you can see what's going on. Without the lights on, you can look around your house and see what's going on. You can navigate with your eyes open. Yeah? But when the sun goes down, you have to become the light or create light, right? The light bulb, and you have to create ways to see in the dark. But I want you to notice that just as humans, basically, we have created ways to navigate when it gets dark. So I want to acknowledge our ability to navigate. Now let's take it as a bridge, right? As a bridge to transmute the blocks, right? So before we cross over the bridge, before we get into the metaphors and into our practice, let's look. What habits do you have that you know limit you? Kind of jot it down. Okay. So habits is a block. It can potentially be blocks. And just as duality is, habits can also shift and benefit you. For now, let's go through these 3 blocks. So number 1, habits, right? So with those habits, there are certain in order for a habit to continue perpetuating itself, for that pattern to continue on that loop, there must be a certain belief about yourself. You all right with that? So there must be a certain way of thinking which leads to the third, which is at the foundation of the flow of all of this is a thought. So before we go to the thought, what belief do you have in yourself? That causes you to continue expressing, exhibiting, involving yourself in a habit that you know limits you. Make a note, mental note. Be good to write it down so you can really neutralize it. Writing is a really powerful graphotherapy. It was a whole book my teacher had on it about correcting behavior through writing, particularly scripting, cursive writing. That's another session. And so now, as I expressed, then there is the way of thinking that is at the foundation of creating the behavior that continues on as a habit. So when you look at your way of thinking, it is more at the root of the behavior, or the belief, I should say. It is more at the root of the belief. Sometimes they're one and the same. But what we want to acknowledge is our ability to choose the way we think. You all right with that? That, as I often say to clients, especially when I was at Passages in a treatment center, addiction treatment center, to establish a foundation of your creative ability. This inspiration came one day to ask. So let's kind of put it both. This is a kind of a transmuting moment, right? Habit, belief, and thought. Do you believe that you have the ability, just the ability, to say yes or no? And to consider that you've been doing the yes or no thing since you could say, probably since you could cry and suckle, because you say yes and let people know to being hungry, and yes to receiving what you are given. And then you get the ability to say, no, I don't want that. I want this. But just in the ability, would you agree that you have the ability to say yes or no? Somebody give me a yes so I know everybody is there. Okay. So right there, to drop your awareness into this ability, you can begin to open to your infinite creative ability. And you can say yes. Right now, you can say yes to the changes you need to make. Right now. And if it's available to you, then the whole experience is available to you. The same way, if you look at the story of your life, the energy was available to you. Whether we know about it or not, it's available. But now that you know, then there becomes a response to your ability. And the more, here's a transmuting moment, the more you respond to all of your ability, not just the ability to say yes or no, because then that yes or no may get stuck in the pattern of, I want to avoid this pain and this discomfort and this thing I don't like, and I want to move into comfort. So give me that immediate result of comfort. I say yes to that comfort. I say yes to that stimulation. If I challenge myself, and this gets into our immersion that leads to a challenge. If I challenge myself, for example, if I know, because of my studies as a holistic health practitioner and a healing minister, if I know that during the change in season where we are now, that I need to slow down on stimulating myself with salt or sugar, and I need to move more towards sour and bitter and more veggies, less snacks. If I know I need to do that so I can be more alert, more focused, less in the overwhelm or anxiety, I have the ability to do it. I have the ability to say yes to that. Just like I have the ability to say yes to anything that stimulates me, that brings me the immediate pleasure that I'm looking for, or the difficulty and overwhelm that I'm looking to avoid more so, right? Quick example, having to shift travel plans where I was supposed to be right now with my family. That's why I'm able to be here with you today in Mexico with the Mayan elders for the summer solstice with several of our senior teachers in our Kundalini Yoga lineage, which, wow, is a dream trip. But family response abilities showed up, and I need to come care for my mother because her treatment team, her care team, was having challenges of their own, which caused them to have less attention on the elder of our community. So, proactive versus reactive intuition showed up. And everything else, all the disappointment is there, all the disappointment of my daughter and my wife and my teachers, and all that disappointment is there. But I believe because I chose to respond to the ability, the respect of that choice was also acknowledged and honored by my wife. My daughter's learning to do that, but my senior teachers and my fellow teachers and the people I haven't met in Mexico and some people calling in and sending messages of support. So I believe, see the belief? Now I believe that this is a path to follow, and it's getting anchored in more and more so it becomes a habit throughout this year. The habit of being proactive, I'm speaking of, versus reactive. So when I choose not to have the salt and I put lemon on my food instead, it may seem like a small thing, but it is a proactive choice to accept the difficulty of changing a habit, but it generates an energy of creativity. So then the inspiration comes and the intuition speaks louder the more we practice. So now it's intuition making the choices of nourishment, for example. So now you're more in alignment with the flow of the creative pulse. That is the rhythm of your heart. That is the movement of your lungs. It is the movement of the sun in the horizon due to the rotation of the earth and the wobble and all the things that have been arranged for you to experience life come alive beyond the two eyes. And that's the beauty of the summer solstice. where you can close your eyes and you can see clearly throughout your unconscious, your consciousness, your issues, your challenges, your opportunities, and come to that internal place, the inner sanctuary, where you got a chance to see what you have an opportunity to create. And then life shows up intelligently, not just randomly, not just a coincidence, but it's synchronicity. It's happening to support you. This miracle is unfolding to give you what you need and let you remember, allow you to remember, I am provided for, I am taken care of. These belief systems, it's not in alignment with who I am. And at the same time, you have that tact, you have that ability to be tactful and navigate and experience the abundance. Why is it that some people are abundant and continue to grow abundantly during crashes and economic crashes and health crises and political crises? And why do some people prosper and others do not? That's the realm of duality. And there's something to discover there. What we're saying is, you can transmute those habits, beliefs, and ways of thinking that limit you by dropping in. Let's drop in. The one thing you need to do, the one thing, breathe consciously. I'll say it again. Breathe consciously. Because then it will connect to moving consciously or mindfully, connected to receiving the intuition, inspiration, guiding you to the inspiration of what to create, and then synchronicity, bringing everything you need to manifest. All from that thought that accepted yourself fully for who you are. And what fed that thought is that conscious breath. So the mind doesn't even have to know what the thought is. It's going to come because intuition is going to bring it. Your mind doesn't have to know how to do it because inspiration is going to come in the moment. And then everything that's connected to that breath is connected to that thought as intuition, and the inspiration as the actions of creation, and the synchronicity to fulfill it. It's all one. Energy connected to the flow of life. So if we drop into the flow of life, this is the idea of mindfulness in the Zen monks and Buddhism. It's the idea in Shaolin and Tai Chi and Qigong and yoga, whether you're in Tibetan yoga, Tibetan Tai Chi, Qigong, or the yoga, or if you go down to the Middle Eastern mystics, the Essenes and the Sufis, right, and the Kabbalists, they're all connected to the same energy. If you go into the indigenous, the teaching of everything is a song from the indigenous people in Australia, right, the Aboriginals there, or the Aboriginals of the Americas, right? They're all vibrating the same truth. Connect consciously to this life force through your breath, through your chanting, through your movements. Let's drop into a little breath flow, particularly giving it to you because this is going to be connected to our immersion of creating a practice for yourself that allows you to purge the blockages in the systems, and then to bring nourishment to yourself so that you're able to activate the creative power and you're able to do the work engage the work needed. So when it comes time to, when you hear the time, when you hear the intuition, you're able to respond to it, because sometimes the intuition comes and we don't allow the inspiration because we're not ready for the intuition, or we tell ourselves, see that thought right there? You see that thought? I'm not ready for the intuition. Cancel, delete, right? To be able to know the intuition and say, yeah, okay, it's time. All right, let me face it, right? It comes, you stand in front of, I'm giving myself as an example, because I know there's some things I need to do, boom, 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 things I need to do, and then I wind up opening up the refrigerator. But that action, it's a small action. It's no big deal. I'm not, I'm not, mainlining or anything or sniffing cocaine. Yeah, I got that. What I'm saying is, there's the small things that we do that build and become this this energy that opens the door to that way of feeling and experiencing life that we know is available. And there's this thought, how do we get there? But the mind is not going to be able to figure it out. It's not going to be the mind in that capacity where we thought our way into these patterns, and we're going to think our way out. It's, from my experience anyway, dropping consciously into that breath. So let's do that. Let's take about a good 10 minutes, 10, 11 minutes, and let's drop into a flow of breathing that moves in a way of purging our energetic system so that we're more clear and available to the intuition, inspiration, and synchronicity. And then enliven ourselves to raise our vibration. Now, the whole process is raising our vibration, which is allowing us to transmute the negative habits, the negative beliefs, or limiting, let's just say limiting, right? The limiting thoughts, the limiting beliefs, right? And those limiting habits. So we're transforming those by coming into a oneness with the source of our being. And that is consciously breathing. Last little tidbit here before we go in so you're aware. When you, and I said it before, when you consciously breathe, you're moving from the survival energy centers, which will have us focused on duality and therefore focused on all the patterns, because the limiting patterns in survival can keep us alive. But those limiting patterns don't necessarily allow us to thrive. So to get into the higher centers, we consciously breathe. Then there's some kind of switch inside the nervous system, thank God. Thank Goddess. Thank you, creation, where we step into being energy, creative, pure energy. All right. Close your eyes for a minute. I was about to say close your mind. Close your eyes for a minute. And just allow yourself to drop into a long, deep breath. Just a few long, deep breaths. So let's get familiar with this long, deep breath, because it is a foundation of every other breath that we do. And it is very, very nourishing for the vagus nerve, the cranial nerve that flows directly out of the brain to every major vital organ in the body, the eyes, influences the throat, and it's a two-way system. So when you really allow your abdomen to open up, you're stimulating the vagus nerve by massaging the digestive organs, feeling it spread the hips. It raises or lifts and spreads the ribs, and then slightly the upper shoulders rise when you get to the top of the inhale. And then you let the shoulders relax. Feel the ribs relax and the belly button falls gently towards the spine. Closing your eyes, bring the ring finger, let's bring the ring finger and the thumb to touch. This energy of the sun, and just allow yourself to have this long, deep breath. For our immersion this Saturday, we're going to start early in the morning. so you can have the rest of your day. But we'll spend about 2.5 hours together. A nice long practice getting into these breathing exercises from a standpoint of purging, invigorating or vitalizing, nurturing, and then regulating. So really follow that breath. Maybe you can hear the sound of it. Hearing the sound deepens the mindfulness, deepens the connection to the source. So this is another way to transmute the limiting habit, limiting belief, and the limiting thought. You can add more transformative fire if you hear the sound of a mantra. We chanted Ab Woon, so you can hear Ab on the inhale, Woon on the exhale. You can hear inhale Sat and exhale Nam. But this is where we get a chance to embody that scripture that says, "Be still and know I am God." And therefore, metaphorically, we're acknowledging this infinite creative potential that we have the ability to respond to. So it's different than, for me, I always stayed away from saying that scripture because my ego was trying to avoid this embodiment of God, this image. But we're melting away these images and looking to embody the presence. And that's what we're doing with the breath, long and deep. So now that we've set ourselves into a stillness, let's begin clearing these channels. There's main channels that flow through the core of our being, and they're very pivotal in allowing us to raise the frequency of our physical self so that we embody our energetic nature. So replace your hands on your knees, and it's a simple spinal flex. I want you to have a sense of your pelvis moving. If this is the crest of your pelvis and this is the coccyx bone or the tailbone, moving the crest of the pelvis forward, rocking back on the tailbone. And that's an inhale forward, exhale back. But really have the breath drop into the pelvic movement so that the breath is activating the movement, and you ought to begin to feel the warming of the muscles of the pelvic basket, right? This weave of muscles, tendons, and ligaments that allows this incredible movement of your pelvis that's the foundation of every movement you make. And as you feel yourself get more fluid, and you begin to gather a rhythm, begin to bring more dynamism to the breath, more energy to the breath. But allow it to be equal. We don't want to hyperventilate. Now, if it's available to you, let's speed up a little bit. Bring a little bit of the heart center in there, but stay steady. We don't want to go back and forth with the shoulders. Keep the movement awareness at your core, generated by the roots of your being in the pelvis. Yeah. Feel the movement of the hips. Just a few more seconds. Inhale nice and tall. Lift the muscles of the pelvic floor. Draw the navel point in and up. Again, be gentle with your pelvic area. If it's comfortable for you, engage. If it's not, just relax. Hold the breath. Exhale. Thumb and ring finger are touching. Palms are faced up, resting on the knee or the thigh. Tune in to the feeling of consciously breathing. Okay. So these breaths we're doing are very clearing. The next one we're going to do is going to be very balancing. For our immersion this Saturday, we're going to go again through the purging, the nourishing and invigorating, and then the regulating flow of our practice. We're going to do alternate nose breathing, which is said to be one of the most important breathing exercises for clearing the internal energy channels. When the internal energy channels are clear, then the backup or stagnant energy will not be available to create limiting thoughts, belief, behavior, right, and habits. So the key is to keep the energy clear. So if you begin to feel the fear, the anxiety, the overwhelm, the anger, the frustration, the why me, if you begin to feel any jealousy or envy, you know, okay, my energy systems are needing to be cleared. Yeah, and so this is one major way to clear it. I like to bend my Jupiter and Saturn finger, my index and middle finger, using the thumb and the ring finger. If for any reason you have a deviated septum or any congestion in any of your nostrils, there's always a movement of which nostril is more dominant. But if you don't have this available to you, see, one of mine is if you don't have it available to you, bottom line, is you can just put both hands in Gyan Mudra, close the eyes, and imagine as I guide the breath, imagine you're following the flow of the breath. It is just as effective, right? So we can embody creating ways to do what we need to do without embodying limitations. All right? Okay, beautiful. So the left hand will be in Gyan Mudra, right hand, if you wish, to tuck. And I'll use the ring finger and the thumb. Using the thumb, closing your eyes, close the right nostril, inhale through the left. Close left, exhale right. In right. Exhale left. In left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. And we're going to add a hold to the rest of these breaths to increase the clearing energy. Inhale left. Hold. Lift the muscles of the pelvic floor slightly. Close left, exhale right. Hold. Inhale right. Hold. Exhale left. Hold. Inhale left. Hold. Last cycle. Close left, exhale right. Hold. Inhale right. Hold. Drop the right hand down. Exhale both nostrils. Inhale both nostrils. Hold. Lift the muscles of the pelvic floor. Bring the right hand into Gyan Mudra. Cannon breath out the mouth. Allow the breath to be normal, in and out the nose. And now just stay where we began with your long, deep breath. As we do a little recap, talk a little bit about Saturday into our visualization for world peace, and we'll pray out. Just feel, bathe in that energy awareness for a moment of consciously breathing. Recognizing that this activity is the way to transmute limiting thoughts, beliefs, and habits. The way to transmute and also train your mind to respond to intuition, inspiration, and synchronicity. Beautiful. So our immersion this Saturday is going to be a deepening into the practice of purging, tonifying, or nourishing, so we grow stronger, and then regulating, so we're able to regulate, to respond to the moment, right? To be able to regulate ourselves beyond, again, any false beliefs we have about who we are, limiting beliefs, thoughts. So getting into that. So the ultimate goal is to operate as an energy being and be that alchemist, right? Be that alchemist. Yeah, to be that alchemist. And not just a mundane alchemist where you are turning lead to gold, but that dynamic, divine alchemist that's able to be in a situation and vibrationally be aware of how to shift the frequency, shift the vibration, so that you have a higher experience of life and a higher, a more balance. Even though it's challenging, there's a sense of joy in being able to connect, right? Okay, family, stay tuned. I think I'll be getting that email out today about the immersion this Saturday. So stay tuned for that, those details. Thank you so much for being here, right? For being able to carve time out of your day. Appreciate you creating this space so that we can connect. And ultimately, the vision is we can spread this vibration, and other humans will remember they are energy beings, and we'll together set up the conditions for peace and love to be the guiding factors in our civilization on Earth. Yeah. Appreciate you all. So let's go ahead and come to this prayer of peace. Opening up to the presence, right? Opening up to that presence of being vibrational beings. Yeah, opening up to that presence. Okay. Let's bring our palms together. Take one long, deep inhale. Or better yet, just stay with that long, deep breathing. As we go into our visualization, for us it is anchored in the flowing of the clean, crystal clear waters, flowing from the springs of Mother Earth. As her infinite creative earth chi awakens the living springs, her body comes into full alignment with the truth of what she was created to be. And the waters begin to flow, and we can hear the children playing in the waters. We can see the villages watering their plants and growing their food. We can see the clay objects being created with beauty that serves such an incredible function. And in the house, the children come in and they are bathed in those clean waters. And we smell the beautiful food, nourishing, empowering, and strengthening, so that the caregivers, the caretakers of the land, they grow stronger. And they begin to create solutions that generate beauty for the problems we face today. We thank you. We thank you for these energies that come to support us, bringing us the intuition, inspiration, and synchronicity that supplies everything we need to do the things we want, and everything we want to do the things we need to serve our soul. Thank you so much. Thank you for gathering us in this way. May others find their way to our sacred circle, and we begin to awaken together into our true energetic bodies, bringing forth beauty and love. So we ask this for all our family and all our relations. Mwah. One love, family. Look forward to seeing you Saturday so we can dive deeper into these practices. They've been really lifting me up over the last month. So I want to share that with you. Okay. One love, one love. And we'll connect either Saturday or next Wednesday. Keep creating a beautiful day.